seconds. 3 seconds. Amen. Hello. Hey, Henry. Hello. Hi. And you can wave.
Yes. We have Jemima.
And Henry. And Francis.
Nina. Right? There's Henry there. Hello.
I can see his mask on the chin. Hello, Francis. Hi, Francis.
There's Francis as well. Nice. Hi, Francis.
Jackson, Wendy, Moses, Nelson. If you're sharing, just come to the screen, all of you, and just wave at us if you're sharing a computer.
Yes.
You can come together. All right. Maybe they will eventually.
Yes.
I think it's a good time. Are they all on board?
Hi, Sandra.
Sandra?
Yes.
Sandra's volume is down.
It's very low. We can't hear you, Sandra.
No, I can't hear you.
She can write in the chat.
Yes. Is everyone on so that we can start?
Okay.
All right.
So waiting for.
Yes. I think Kasulia said we can start. Can we start?
Yes, I think so.
All right.
Let me just.
Let's start. If any of your friends and colleagues have not joined, kindly just text them, WhatsApp them to join as soon as possible. Because now I think we are starting.
Yeah. Okay, so good morning, everybody in Uganda. I hope you had a good day yesterday and a restful evening, and you're all safe and ready for starting today's discussion. Thank you for yesterday's discussion. I like the way you gave your discussions and shared them on the questions. It shows we're all together. I like how we're all thinking and how we are learning. So I hope the same continues for today as well. So again, feel free to share questions. We'll look at them with purity.
Yes.
If here with any doubt, we want to be all together. So group 3, I hope you're here with us today. We lost you for a while yesterday, and I hope we can be together today. Group 3, whoever they are, we shall look and see what they have done.
Yes.
So just a recap of what we had done yesterday. We discussed change, introduced what change was, and we agreed about what change is. It's a shift to align to the environment. We discussed about our environments that we normally look at when you're thinking about change. We have our internal firm environment of the company. We have the operating environment where we have our customers, our clients. Then we have now the industry or the sector environment where we have our competitors and others in the same industry with us. We have the external environment where is beyond what we can control. It's beyond our industry, it's beyond our company. It is given to us by other factors that we cannot control. And here is where we said we need to use the PESTEL analysis tool, because we cannot adapt, unless we know what is causing that trigger, we cannot be able to act thereafter. And I think we all went through that. I just want to add here that the PESTEL is only used on the external environment where you have government, you have politics, economic. Those are the places where you want to use the PESTEL. If you have a change you want to identify in your farm environment or your industry environment, you won't require to use a PESTEL. You can just use the 7 S's directly because the model that I gave you earlier, the McKinsey 7 model, it has a very, very easy way of knowing the 7 elements that you can find in organization. So don't have to go to Pastel for the internal or the industry sector, industry environment, because you know what to expect. If it's competition, if it's pricing, those come in every day and you understand how to use them. Okay, so once you have seen which factor in the Pastel you have picked that has caused a change, then you can now identify using your internal 7 S's for the McKinsey to see what factors are going to be influenced or affected by that change. And then now, today we'll discuss from there on, what do you do? How do you start planning and implementing the change you want to see? Okay, so unless anybody has anything to ask in the first section, you can continue. Anybody want to ask anything? I'll give like 2 minutes. Anybody who wants to ask, clarify something, and you continue.
From yesterday's class, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Or what we discussed, yes.
Yes. So any questions from yesterday or anything that was not clear or you thought about it during the day or at night? And you're like, I need a bit of clarification here. If you can't talk, you can put it on the chat box. I think we can see it. I think there's nothing there, Nancy, or someone wants to talk. All right. Let's proceed.
Yeah. So now once you get to know what are the areas that are needed to be changed, you can start planning for your change, or you can start planning how to adapt to the change using some models that I'm going to share just now. Let's go back to our example on the migration for the Mara migration for the wildebeests. Before they even start moving across the Mara River, animals are also intellectuals in their own way. Yes?
Yes.
God gave them a mind, and that's how they survive. If they didn't have that instinct in them, they would never survive. So when it comes to time between the July and October hard dry season, they have a plan on how they're going to survive. I think if you were to ask them, to talk to us, we hear their language, I think they will say something like this. The time has come for us to move over where we can find good pasture, where we can survive. And to do that, we have to cross the Mara River. And of course, you know what awaits us there. There are crocodiles, can finish us. But I'd rather cross that river and go across and find some pasture and survive than staying here and dying. So they make a plan, How shall you do it? So they all come in many numbers, those animals, in many numbers. Let's just come together at the banks of the river early in the morning, and it's bright, many of us, and have a few of us who are going to lead us through the Mara River to set the pace for us to move along. So they agree on who is going to lead and who's going to set the pace and start. And once they begin crossing, it's a non-stop crossing. They continue and they stampede that river because they know that the more they are stampeding that river, they cause confusion among the crocodiles. So the chance of crossing over is higher as opposed to having one by one crossing. So they start early in the morning when they can see the river and they agree we're going to go from here. It's shallower. Let's start here. So I'm just trying to indulge you in what I think they plan, because animals also plan. So they continue and they cross day and night until the day is over, then they stop. So when they get on that side, now they look and see how many of us maybe have crossed. Of course, they lost a few lives here and there with the crops, but even animals plan for their change. And so should we. We have to plan. You don't just start saying, we have seen the pestle, now it's social, it's COVID, let's now start, what do we do now from there? You must plan. And to plan for the change, we have been given some change models. And a model is nothing than just, it's a roadmap. It helps you adapt or know which way to go, like the map of Uganda. Yes?
Pardon for a second. We have a question from the chat box before you move on to today's topic.
Yes.
The question is, some of the staff do not understand the external factors that bring about change outside the work environment. Can you shed more light on that a bit?
On the factors that affect the external environment.
Yes.
So let me go back to this place over here, this chart.
Yes.
Can you all see it, the round graph? So let us look at the 4 environments of a business. The first one that's inside there is a farm environment. We say that the company, or like at Q sourcing, that is who you are. You have your goals, you have your staff, operations, you have your strategies. Those are the ones you can control directly. If something was to happen there, like maybe a leader has moved away, a new CEO has come in, you can manage to do that among yourselves, the change. Correct? That is what you control, isn't it? Yeah? You can control what happens there because you have the expertise, you have the resources, and you have the skills for that. The second layer is the operating environment, where we say these are the people you interact with every day, like your customers, your clients, those you serve beyond your company, those who depend on you for their services. If a case like maybe you lose one client to somebody else in your industry, you'll know how to maybe recover them back or how to get another one in the same environment to keep you on track. Or you'll know how to launch your product to the customers who are within your control, the ones you serve, how to improve, how to make them happier, how to serve them better. Those are the second layer, your customers. Level 3 is industry environment. These are now beyond you, where you find your competitors. Like now you have Q sourcing, could be having somebody else called R consulting who does the same work as you're doing, where you compete now for the market share, for more customers. Where you have now new entrants to the market, new entry, so consulting in the market, where you have now somebody has dropped their prices, a new way of selling your product has come in. That's where you compete now with somebody beyond you. Okay, is that okay so far?
Yes.
And now you come to the external environment here, the last one, the larger circle outside here. This is where now you have no control. It is things like politics, the economy, the social dynamics, the project. The pestle is where it comes in now, where you need to understand what elements are trying to either be for me or against me, and can I change for the better, or do I adjust myself? Because some things that happen here in the pestle are not always against you. For example, if the dollar or the exchange rate in Uganda is improved against your shilling, it means you have more mileage for your shilling than before. So you can invest better and make more money than before. So that change is for your favor. If it fluctuates, it means you have less money to use, you have less value for your operations. You're not getting enough revenue as before. So all those, the pestle here, the PESTEL here, can either work against or for you. So this is where you now think about the factors such as the economy. The elections are coming soon, there's corruption. It means we have to bribe to get some services. Or let's say like in the E, the last E here, the environment here, the weather, it's raining more than before, yeah? And where you are in your business, maybe if you're a farmer in the business, it can take away your crop that you have just planted. It means it's a negative thing. But the rains are consistent and the way they should be, it means you can get a high yield for your harvest. So this pestle can work for or against you. And this is what now you apply to try and scan and understand this external, the last ring here, that goes beyond your industry, it goes beyond your operations and your farm. So for change management here, we discuss this external element because that's what can change everything. This is where you depend on, because unless you keep a firm hand on this one, somebody else will and take advantage before you and throw you out of business or bring you down below as a competitor. So for the inner circle here, these ones you can manage your own way. You can, because there are things within your control, Does your competition give better prices? Are they snatching your customer? So find your own way of doing it here. You can use the McKinsey 7 S's, but the last one here is where change really happens and affects everybody. Like now we have COVID. The whole world is searching for COVID and seeing what they can do, because now it's social. It affects our health. And being a health matter, it affects everything else. It affects your staffing, isn't it? Your systems, how you operate. Sometimes we'll say someone have to work from home or reduce some staff and they can go on leave early and others can stay. It affects your strategy as well. You had planned to do all these things the first quarter of the year and achieve these goals, but now they are not. So that is how the external environment dictates how we work. And that's why we must keep a very, very close eye as you're keeping it in the inner circles here, the 1, 2, and 3 layers, even more so in the external environment. That is where you can either sink or swim. Companies fold up in just 1 week or 1 day for not following or keeping an eye or an ear on the external environment. Is that more clearer?
Sandra, what do you think? Or whoever had the issue of external environment?
They can unmute and tell us, maybe.
Yes.
Is that better? Is that okay? Or they can chat, they can write out.
Yes. We have Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, you have something to say? Yes. Rebecca, you can talk. All right, Sandra has written, that was good. They have understood the concept. Thank you.
Okay. Just give me a minute, please. I have somebody at my door. I want to just finish with them.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you for allowing me that time. So please keep asking questions. I want to hear them on the chat or as we do the Q&A. It's very critical that we can stay together. So I'll just say here again that the pestle is basically for the external. That is what helps every business on the external environmental changes.
Yes.
But if it's anything to do with the farm industry operating, you can just say we have found a new entrant in the market. Maybe how do we preserve our customers? How do we protect ourselves and remain competitive? You can go to the mechanism and say it's affecting maybe our skills, strategy. So how do we go about that and make a plan, as we will go and see later? It's a very good model because it helps us in many areas of planning, strategy planning. It helps us in change management. So it's very, very versatile as a tool to be used by businesses in very many aspects. So can we go back and now start seeing how we can plan for change?
Yes.
Let's continue. And please stop me if I'm too fast or my English is very Kenyan. Sometimes it's not going to be very clear with you. Now, we said for us to continue on and start planning for our change, there are some models we have been given before that have been tested and worked in the business environment for many years, and I'll just go a few of them. So a model here is basically a roadmap, a map that tells you if I want to go from Kisumu to Kampala, I will use Busia Road, I will go to Malaba, and then I will take this turn and take this road, and I'll get to Kampala. I'll pass Entebbe, I'll pass these cities and get to Kampala, for example. So they're just roadmaps to help us to understand how to go stage by stage and to achieve and to plan every stage of the way, okay? So they're just guidance. Now, I'll just show you a few that have been applied before in business for change. They're called change models. So far, there are top 5 models we have in business. There's ADCA model, Lewin's field force model, Lewin's 3-stage, Koda's 8-step, and Kabler-Ross 5-step. These are very many, and we can't discuss all of them right now, but you can go and read about them. They are there in the books, in the internet. You can find them on Google Scholar. I'll just go through 3 of them that are mostly used because of their success rate in the industry. So I'll discuss them and just show you why they are used and how they are used and how you can adapt them in your own organization. All right. So let me start. I'll take the Lewin's models because that is one of the beginning, the founders of the change models. And I'll say that Lewin model was developed by somebody called Kurt Lewin, psychologist in 1951, who thought of change as a model that should be modeled in a plan. And he began by looking at change and saying change is a field force. Change exists in a field of forces that are for and against. You can see my diagram there. If you're like now Q sourcing, you're trying to implement, for example, yeah? But the others are trying to restrain that change. They're called the restraining forces. And they're coming from above. Those arrows coming down from restraining forces or resistance forces to resist the change, because change is a very, very hard thing. Change is never easy, even for a human being, your own personal life. We don't like change. So as you're trying to change in the company, you'll find some resistance, of course. Somebody will say, I don't like this, because nobody wants to change. Think of how, like now here in Kenya, Nairobi, we have been told to wear a mask everywhere in public because of COVID. And a few of us are not liking the idea of wearing masks. We don't want to wear them, you know? Until now, they have said there'll be a fine if you're found in public without wearing a mask. So it tells you how human beings are resistant to change. That is normal, okay? So you have the company here, and then you have other forces from the below that are trying to bring in the change. So trying to fight those who are against it and are for it. So Catley here said that in this field force, if the forces against the change and for the change are equal, they can change. It's called the equilibrium place. As long as you're here, you can either die, because if you never change, others are changing, you will remain the same, lose your market share, you will lose your customers, you'll be so behind in the sector because you're not adapting to the changes that are causing you to change in the pestle, for example. Is that clear? So he saw this as a model of a field force in change. And then later, the same scientist, Kurt Lewin, he thought it's good to model the change and see how it can be easily applied in a business to achieve performance goals. If you look at the top there, you find organizational performance. That's where you want to be. You have plans and goals you want to achieve, you know. You want to achieve 80% of your target maybe in the first quarter. You want to gain 10% customers above last year, for example. Of course, I know you have them very nicely done there in QSS in Uganda. So he saw change to be in 3 different stages. The first stage here on the left, you'll see is what is called unfreeze. If you look at the bottom part here, the last here, it says the old norms or maintaining status quo. That is where you are right now. That is what is going on there called status quo. What you have been doing, how you've been doing business, how you've been working, you know, the methods, and you're all very happy there. And we all love to be in the old norm. We love our old status quo, don't we? We like doing what we do. We don't want to be told to change, you know? Nobody wants to be told, go and now start working from home and send reports. You don't want to change the old way of living. It's like where you live now in the house you live. Even moving from your house to another house is hard to change. New neighborhoods, new neighbors, new transport systems. So this is where now you find the arrows are fighting this line across here that's trying to unfreeze the old way. So he called the first stage unfreeze, you know, a very, very simple term, unfreeze. And the arrows above here are the ones that are causing change. So they're pushing down the old norms to bring in the new. And he used unfreeze because it's what you want to do, to like unfreezing a piece of meat, maybe like for steak, or unfreezing your maybe milk or juice you had frozen. You want to let go of the olden ways and change. Unless you unfreeze that steak that you have been freezing for the last 1 week, you can't roast it or grill it. Am I right? So he used very, very simple terms here, unfreezing and freezing. So the first thing is to be able to make the equilibrium go away. So bring the force that are going to create a change to tip over and cause an unfreeze or a way of removing the olden ways. That's the first step. And we call the next step here, the move stage, where now you're trying to implement the change. It's called the move or the implementation or the changing or transforming stage. I just go back there again. So you're moving upwards towards where you want to go, because you have been down here, you want to get better, you're transforming, you're changing. So then that's the next, that's when you apply the change that you imply, you bring the plans in force, you train people, mentor them. And then once you have agreed on which way you want to go, you make that new change the new norm. You can see new norms here, and it's above the level of where you are. Look at the level where it is, it's now much higher. He called that state the refreezing. Yeah, it becomes now frozen again to be a new. So let me just show them in a chart here to break them down better. So stage one is unfreezing, and it's about creating a dissatisfaction. You make them feel unhappy about where they are. So you're telling them as a leader, where we are is not a good place because we're losing market share, we're losing customers, maybe we're losing revenue as well. So we need to start moving out from here. We need to unfreeze the way we work and the way we look at customers and the way we approach them and the way we even do our businesses. And we're also trying to benchmark with other operations and seeing if we think of shifting the way we work to thinking about how we can improve our skills, maybe for our salespeople, of our employees, to work better, to work smarter, then maybe it can be the benchmark operations in the new normal. And then again, now here you look at the internal barriers that are going to stop people from, because there are many things that are going to obstruct you from moving forward. There'll be, of course, attitude issues, negativity among the staff members, those who resist the change, because that is normal. Because don't be surprised if you're a leader and people are not agreeing with you on the change, because it means it's up to you to make them think and look at it the way you're seeing it. Sell the change agenda to them, to think like you and to see it's good for them and for the company. So this is the first stage of unfreezing, creating a place where you can say it's not a good place to be here, let's find another place to be. Number two, stage two is a moving or the changing stage where you're now redesigning your structures, your strategies, your roles, okay? You're putting investment aside for trainings, for new skills, for example. You're coaching your employees, you're communicating and telling them the positives. For example, this move is good for us because if we don't move, we don't change, we will lose our company, we lose our jobs, we lose revenue. So we better think about moving and changing as a positive thing, as hard as it is. And of course, here you're looking for those who can help support and promote the change, among the employees, who can be the ones who are setting the pace for the move. So this is where the change takes place. You have planned, this is how you're doing it, you're reviewing, engaging to see how far and how it's been done. And of course, here again, it's about selling the positive things, because every change should be towards a positive, should be about improving, to be about increasing something, to be getting better. And then the third stage here is the refreezing. At the beginning, Kat Lewin called the freezing stage, but now as we went along, experts put the word refreezing because it's about reinforcing the new norms, the new change, the new plans we have put in place here to make them the new way of working, the new way of attacking new clients, the new way of remaining competitive. It's about the pay structures, for example, they are now aligned. If you have new control systems, you have put them in place. It's a new brand, it's in place now, a new way of doing business. Everything is now reinforced or refrozen. That's a Kat Lewin's model of change. Any questions so far? And this has been used by very many companies out there. The top 50 companies the US have used before. It has worked very, very well. It gives a very simple way of understanding how to remove the old, how to move from the old ways to the new ways, and how to keep them and reinforce them as a new way of working. I'll pause there for questions. Any question? Please feel free.
Henry, you want to say something?
Yeah, I need to say something.
Yes, Henry.
When you look at the model here,
yes,
it's more centered to the brand, let me say company.
Yes.
That is the managers and everything. And when you look at the impact of the model is more going to be in the negative side of the receivers, let me say the team that you're leading at a certain level. So how do we play over that? Because however much you may bring out the benefits to them, but in a long run, people, when change is coming, there is that negative feeling, but still their feeling will be satisfied when the actions start. Because you may choose to re-engineer systems and then you may reduce numbers. You may choose to re-engineer systems and then you reduce, when I say numbers, I'm looking at pay, labor reduction, things of that kind.
Yes.
Yeah, for example, if at all the change was impacted on, let's use the COVID, itself,
Yes.
where all the changes are into play to reduce numbers.
Yes.
Yes. How would we go about that as managers?
Okay, good question. And I need to come some time today. Again, I said earlier, change is never easy. Yeah, there'll be some winners and some losers. But ideally here, the change of doing in a company is supposed to help the organization survive, number one, number two, to prosper. Understand, eh? Because a business should be thinking of not sinking, it should think of swimming. A company is carrying people, it's carrying systems, it's carrying a lot. And the leaders have the task here in any change strategy they're having in place to be able to, in the first stage here of unfreezing, you're trying to sell your change agenda and saying to the people in very, very clear terms, we need to change because like now for COVID, nobody saw COVID. It's nobody's fault that COVID has come. Nobody made COVID in Uganda or Kenya. True? It has happened. And we saw early it's unplanned. But they had to make some adjustments, either in the structure, in the people, in the resources, for the company to stay afloat. Now, this plan they will make will hurt some people in the short run. We hope so, we are praying the short run. But in the long run, the company will stay afloat because that's a whole thing, because it carries more than just one person. In the first stage here, in the increasing stage, it is now the time to tell the people, look, we are having a difficult thing here called COVID, okay? It's hurting our business, it's hurting our operations, it's hurting our income and our revenues. So for us to survive for a while, we need to have a structure change in the way we keep employees. Maybe they'll say we're having a pay cut because they can't afford to pay all of you 100%, but they want to keep you there, they need you there, but please accept this pay cut. It's a short run, as opposed to being told you're going home. Or they'll tell you, like I've seen here in Nairobi or in Kenya, they are being told to go on leave until things improve. It's very, very sad it's happening. It's very, very disheartening, but it must be done. But it is now the let's give a hope and say, it's only until we're able to stay afloat and this thing is under control that we can call you back, because they're trying also to keep the ship sailing. It's very, very hard. But you as an employee should think a different way, should say, look, it's not about me. I have worked here for many, many years. I have done my best. I didn't call COVID to come to Uganda or to the world, but the company I work for that pays me, I believe they're doing their best to keep it running so that beyond COVID or beyond the economy or beyond the elections and all that's going around in the pestle, I can secure my place in the company. It's about a balance of the two. So here, the tone of the leader, and we'll discuss that later as we continue on the models, is very, very key. They must show compassion, understanding, because it's about human beings, because structures you can change. You can say, I'm throwing out this old structure, the IT system will go out, a new one. When it comes to people, it's the way you address them, the way you address the issue. With compassion, understanding, because they have bills to pay like you have, maybe they have families who depend on them. But it must be made very, very clear that this change is for the good of the company, and eventually the employees will have a place to work, because the company goes down, everything goes down. Do you agree?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes, please.
If the company survives, you have a chance of surviving because the company surviving is going on. When this COVID thing goes away under control, then I can have my job back, I can have my full pay back. But it's the way they communicate to you as an employee.
This is very true, Nancy. My concern is there is also when the company survives, and when it survives, it's looking for new talent.
Okay, that now depends on what they're looking for, because as we said earlier in the McKinsey 7 Ss, remember how we discussed the skills and stuff?
Yes.
Now these skills, you're trying to first look at them from the inside. If let's say, what is your role in the company? What do you do there, Henry? What is your role in the company?
Projects manager.
Okay, yes. If they're looking for a skill that can do beyond what you can do as a project manager, they want somebody else to find to do it better. If they can't find it inside there, they'll bring a new one. And there's nothing wrong with that. They support you as you're doing your projects. If they can train you, the better. Train you and coach you to do that job, the better. If they cannot train you because you don't have the skill or the what can I say, or the what do you call this? You're unable to adapt a new skill, they can find from outside, and it's okay. If they feel they don't need your skill for now, for some reason, they can give something else to do or put somewhere else, but the skill they need is not there, they will bring it in, and it's okay. But when I think comes to things like laying off and all that, I can't talk because that's a different thing altogether. It's a different subject. Laying off and putting people off is a different thing, is what they plan. But for change, they need to first look at the inside. Do they have this skill? Can they find this skill within the company? If not, can they acquire it? Because they do need that skill, for example. So those are now top level, discussions I cannot discuss now because they know what they're looking for. But what I'm saying here about change is that they need to get you on board to accept that this change is good for you and for the company, and that they're doing their best and they need you. Because change won't happen just at the top, it happens across. You at the bottom there are part of this change to make it happen. Yeah? So things about the skills and all that, it would be good to look for the insiders first and maybe give them the skills they require. If they can't find in the inside, they can't train you, they can bring them out. So that's a different thing altogether. So I hope I've tried to explain that to you, Henry.
So it's fine, Nancy. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Nancy, we also have another question.
Yes.
Unfreezing refer to the system disintegration. Moving refer to new systems introduction, and refreezing, meaning new systems consolidation and support.
Exactly, it is. So the stage 2 here, what you're adapting as the new change, if you're saying now because of COVID, we need to think of how people can start working from home because we can't keep them on the office here. Think of how we can reduce maybe the cost of operation because we need to have some money for us to operate with. Or we could train some people on how they can maybe learn how to work remotely. So what you're doing here, in this stage here, becomes a new normal at the refreezing place. Yeah, and that becomes a new normal. If you look at the chart here, you see how you unfreeze, the old goes down, you move or transform or change upwards towards, because you're trying to achieve your goals anyway, and then you refreeze, that becomes a new normal. So the old has gone, behold the new. I'll be a preacher. So everything has gone away, the old that you know. Some things may stay, but some will remain, will go away. So this is where you want to be because you have seen you can grow faster, you can compete better, you can make your customers happier, you can expand to new branches. Yeah, are we clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So the refreezing is where you have now the new behaviors and new values have been instilled, the way you work are now part of the new normal that everyone must adapt to, okay? They become part of the system. The strategy may be the structure. So refreezing here is like you cannot unfreeze until further change has been seen. That's how we're going to go. For us to achieve our objectives, we must go this way, no going backwards. Yeah? Shall I continue?
Any questions so far before we move on?
That's a Cat-Lewin's model.
All right.
Applied very well, yeah. So the three-stage model has done very well in many companies abroad and across here. But another one was modified thereafter by another scientist or another lecturer called John Koda, who thought and said, the three-stage is a fantastic model, but I can break it down and develop it to 8 steps to make it more of a broken down structure, a more step-by-step that tells us where we are at any time. So he came up with a model called the Koda's model of 8-step model. So you can see here at the top, we have the stage 1, 2, and 3 that were done by Cat-Lewin, then freezing, changing, or moving, and refreezing model. You can see that. So all he did here was to develop or add or increase and break down the model by adding 8 steps. This became the #1 selling model for business until today. It has done very, very well because it tells you where you are at every stage of the way. Now, in the first stage here, it's to change. We can't make enough. Differently, because if you don't do, lose our market share and all go home. And then you must give them facts and figures. This is where we have been the last 5 years. We've been making very good progress, for example, 80% margins. But now in the last 2 years and going forward, we are forecasting and seeing that if you continue the same way we're working, we are losing 30, 40%. So have your facts on the fingertips and share as a leader to the entire team. Let them see either we sink or we swim. That's the very first stage here. Unless you succeed in this first step, selling that change agency, it's very hard to move now to start changing, because again, changing here, we said it's everyone who is involved in the entire organization. You can't just say the CEO and the HR and the finance are the ones doing it. No, it's everybody. It goes down all the way. So the bottom level employees, everyone must be able to see why we are moving and what it needs for A, the company, B, for me, 3, for my department. Yeah, is that clear? Yeah. Yes. Understood? The first step, it's very, very important you first understand that first step. This is where you expect some questions as well. So for you who's an employee, like maybe in project management, or you're in HR or in ICT, it's a place to ask questions and be very, very open and candid. Yeah. So why are we moving? Show us why. Why can't you say what has happened in the environment? What is going on? So have some very, very open discussions here and be very clear and open the books and show figuratively where we are, maybe in our earnings, our gains, our market share, whatever has made a shift in the pastel, be very, very clear. So they can agree and say, yes, these are. Questions as a leader? They understand and agree with you that it's time to move, then only can you go to the next stage of changing, stage 2. Okay? Now, the second thing you do here as you start changing, you have laid out your plan for the change, but you need to have a team of people called the guiding coalition. You have to pick a few people who understand change, understand figures, projections, understand what has gone on in the industry, they're able to understand the market dynamics. You put them together as a leading team to help you direct the change agenda, because it needs a team of people. Pick a few guys in HR, not really the top person, somebody who understands how people behave and how they think, to help you lead this change. ICT, somebody in project, somebody in HR, somebody in technical. So find a team of people who are able to guide the change agenda. People understand that they must change. So once you have that team, the next thing, number 2 here, you see, you're trying to create a compelling change vision, okay? So now you have told them here in step 1, we need to start changing. We need to change because of these reasons here. And they've said, yes, it is true. If you don't do it, we'll shut down, go home, lose our job, no more income. But if you do it together and agree together to do it and go through it, we will survive. Like how the animals migrate across the land and said, you know what, no, but you don't stay. We'll be. Let's start tomorrow morning, for example. Now, a compelling vision. Now, this vision is what you call a change vision. You're trying to show them that where we are going to be after the change is over is better for all of us, as employees, as a business, in structure-wise or in money-wise, in all those areas. So convince them why it's a good thing. This vision here must be sold to every person, must be explained, and the buy-in must be found from every level. The guy who drives the CEO, the drivers, the sweepers must agree, because they must see themselves as part of this change vision. Okay? Now this vision must have words like, we are going to grow, we are going to improve, we are going to be the leaders. So the way you coin out this vision to make it sell should be very, very brief. Don't add too many too many, what do you call, jargon. Make it simple and very brief that anyone understands. And you can explain it in about maybe, 5 minutes? So the first thing that these people must do here, the change champions or the change guiding coalition, is to develop that vision. An example of how you can make it. Let me just show you an example. Okay, you're painting a picture of a desired future. Yeah. So now the animals across the Mara, they're saying, across there's greener grass, there's more water. Yeah. We can multiply in big numbers. There's less lions because they also have their own food to eat. So for us, we are easier to survive. But if we stay on this side, we'll all perish. That's the kind of thing you're painting to your employees, that kind of picture. Explain every part of the future. What you're seeing is better than now. Because you're trying to say to them, look, if you stay here, it's not good for us. So use things like increase, improve, reduce. If you're seeing things like increase in your vision, it's a good thing. You're going to increase our market share. That means for you as an employee, you're going to grow in the business. Maybe grow in position, in the pay as well. Improve our what? Maybe improve our influence. Or reduce cost of operation. That means we have more money to make us work better or to pay you. You're trying to get a buy-in, all right? Now, let me give you an example of my own business. I'm a consultant. Let me try and stop this sharing and show you how you can make a compelling vision.
Nancy, before you go on. Hello?
Yes. Hello, I can hear you.
We have a few inputs, I think, just to support the argument of John Koda. One is, could we believe Koda meant critical need for identification against which he creates a sense of urgency, like the way you break it down into from 3 stages to 8. So what do you think?
I think what Koda was doing, what is clear here is trying to break down the 3 stages into specific stages of the change. Yes, of course, there was the 3 stages that was done by Kat Lewin. It was like a summary of how you change in 3 stages. But Kat Lewin broke it down to simple steps that you can be able to know where we are in stage 2 that says we are now moving or we are transforming. Yes. So where are we now? Are we at the vision? Where are we now? Communicating the vision. So every step is defined clearly to make it simpler to follow through. That's what Koda was doing. Not to oppose what Kat Lewin was doing, it was just developing and even improving to make it easier for all to follow. And anybody can follow because they know now we are at the stage where we have sold our vision. We are now reviewing our gains as we go and see through. But he didn't quite try to bring it out. He just tried to develop it better.
All right. The other comment is, could we also learn from Henry's question? Henry is the one who had the earlier questions. It seems Henry is focusing us on preparation for change in the organization.
Yes.
I think that was a comment.
Okay, yes, that's true. Preparing, yeah, that's where the first stage comes in stage 1, selling the sense of urgency for everybody, the entire company. Everyone must understand it, we must move.
Yes.
So the first stage, as I said, is preparing the mind and creating a sense of agreement across the company that we all need to change. And where are we going is now the vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Any more comments? Okay, I want to show you an example. After you have now had, you have now gotten an agreement on the first stage that we all need to change. You must create a vision for them to understand why and where we are going to, okay? Let me start by, let's just begin at the beginning here. Let me just say that, yeah, here we are. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can see it, huh? So let's say my company is called Z Consulting, yeah? I'm a trainer, yeah? I've been training for many, many years, and then COVID has come in now.
You're not seeing the screen yet.
Oh, not yet, you cannot see it. There?
Not yet.
Oh, let me try again. Let me share. Can you see it now?
Yes.
You can see it, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So I was saying that I'm using my example as a consultant and I'm calling myself Z Consultants. I'm a trainer. I've been training, and the old way of training that me and Beauty have been doing was we go to Uganda, for example, to Q sourcing, or they come to us and we train them face to face. We interact. I can see who Henry is. He can talk to me directly. We can have our group discussions, the way we all live. But now COVID has come and it tells us we cannot meet face to face, okay? So now my first stage there is establishing a sense of urgency to my team and myself, okay? So I told them here, you see now with what is going on, our company cannot shut down because we're in the training business. But we can continue on training virtually, yeah, to remain in the industry and continue serving our customers in the time of COVID and even after COVID. So what do? We have to change and start doing virtual training, yeah? And it's done using Microsoft Teams, you can use Murals, you can use Zoom, yeah? But for us, we must survive because if I don't continue this business, you employees of mine, I'll send you home. Yeah, so for them now they have seen, yes, must do that, but how are you gonna do it? Stage 2, so I come here and I say, I'm going to pick about 2 or 3 of people who have understood this change, who I can rely on to help me to plan and implement this change across the company for as long as we are doing it. But first of all, I also require to have a compelling vision, okay, on why this change is good for us and what it will do for us. So here I've come and have developed a change vision. You can all see it?
Yes.
I was saying earlier, make it very simple, a small, like 4 or 5 lines, one paragraph, and use very simple but very catchy language because they're trying to sell this change. And I have said here, for example, introduce virtual training into our training methodology to continue providing our service to our clients and remain competitive. Okay, you have some keywords there in the market.
Yes.
Now, why should we do this? Virtual training will provide us a growth elements for us to serve a wider scope of clients. For example, you see for a long time, you used to serve customers in Nairobi only, in Kisumu, at whatever, but now we can go beyond Nairobi. We can go to Uganda and Rwanda on a virtual training, yeah? So we can get more clients in one city, in the region, and across our boundaries, yeah? It's flexible, convenient delivery method, and can reduce logistic and operational costs. You see now I can reduce my cost of operation because I want to go and start hiring hotel rooms and hiring people to go and bring this for me. It's easier to adapt and it's cheaper. And for me to save costs, it means I can continue working because that money can be saved to continue investing in my business and paying my workers, okay? So you see that it's simple and it sells the key things to remain in the industry, to continue with business, reduce our costs and improve the way we serve our clients. It can be written and hung across the boards. If you have some notice boards, you can share on your screens, and then you get feedback. Then you wait. Let them ask questions. Let them engage you because there will be questions. There are some doubts occurring and they want to understand further because human beings must be convinced on something like change. Why are we changing and where am I in this change? So by saying we're reducing the cost of improving our scope of our training, they will see themselves not just for now, but even thereafter. If Z consultant was to continue working, they have a job. Any question on that, on the vision, on the change vision? That's an example. If you were part of my consultants team, would you buy this vision? Is it selling? Would you be convinced? That's now an open question to the panels. Sandra, are you there?
She's in.
She's in. I'll just call out names. Would you buy that vision for change if you're part of Z Consultants? Would you buy it? Is it clear? Is it simple? Understandable?
Yes.
Anybody else? That's how you construct. Rebecca? Or they can just chat. So what I'm saying here, it should be very clear and transparent. Don't exaggerate, make it simple and clear because you're carrying people's dreams and hopes here. And they must see themselves here as well. They are part of this vision. You're thinking about them as people, as your employees, as team players, people you need to continue. All right. So let's get back now to our quarters model and proceed with the following steps in the quarter model. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we have gone as far as develop a compelling vision. That's a one. So once you do that, you communicate it very, very widely, share with everybody and let them understand, ask their questions, their objections, because this is where you want to now start showing them it's better for us. So for me, I'll tell you the first step here, sense of urgency and selling the vision very widely is the biggest step you can. Once you can win in this area so far, you can win in the entire planning of the change. You first have to win this place. Next now, stage 1, 2, 3, 4. Stage 5 of the quarter's 8th step is to empower employees to act on the vision. Now, how do you do that? To empower is to develop people. You're trying to give them the right place to be to do this change. This training, coaching, yeah, all the skills, improve their skills, coach them, mentor them, feel a part of this change. If, for example, you're doing a change in ICT, you train people on the ICT program you want to launch in the next in a few months. If it's people who need money for maybe to change or to bring in the new branch you want to bring in, you give the money for them to do that. If you're trying to bring in consultants to help you with the change model, you bring them in. So this is where the change begins now. Empowering people, give them the confidence and the skills and all they require to have as they start changing. So by now you have cleared their doubts, you have won them over, they have seen the vision, and you are now getting to work. All right? So now everything is working. The news are working. Now you have changed your maybe your mission statement or your. If it's a merger, now you are in the merger system. You're bringing in the new people in. If you're doing a buy out, if you're buying a new branch, maybe you're now engaging them. They're coming in. They're coming to discuss what you're doing together, how you go ahead. This is where the first step begins. But empowering employees is the first thing. Empowering them in terms of positive attitude to buy in and continue. You're supporting them, encouraging them, and removing all the obstacles that may happen in the course of the way because they'll be there. Obstacles will be there for sure. Managing their doubts, resistance. So empower them and make them believe it is time to start. Let's continue with this now, So they're ready now to continue. So now as you do the change, the number 6 step here is to generate short wins. Now, for every change, you have begun the change, look and see what have we learned so far, what have we achieved so far. Do we have any short-term wins? Yes. If we had said that by now in this change agenda, we have at least accomplished five new customers, for example, you have achieved 3 new customers, that's a good win and you can celebrate it. So look back and say we have done this so far and celebrate and show everyone that this change is working. Okay, so far in the first 6 months, we have won 3 new customers, or we have gained revenue of 20% more than we had last year. So this change is working, okay? And celebrate and reward those who have done a good job, who have shown that they have been there with you and they have achieved something. It's very, very good to celebrate and tell people, this team here has done very well, they have done this, so I pray the others will do the same thing and continue the same energy levels. Then again, you look and say, what has not gone well in this change? What can we look and see how we can improve it, make it better to work like others have worked better? Then you go back and say, maybe here we require to adjust and say this skill requires to be sharpened, or requires someone to come for a short while to consult with us in this area. We require to have more people, so let's employ more people here in this department, or more money to go out in this area. So all those gaps that were not working so far are the ones you want to bring back to work with others. And then number 7, the last stage here in this stage, excuse me, you're trying to create a greater change, because first you have done the short wins. You now want to bring in what had not worked earlier into what has worked and create a bigger change. This is where now you want to win big. And entirely, the entire company has seen now we have come this far, we have made a change, it's working for us. We are on our way to winning back our customers, or creating more revenue, or winning more markets, or whatever you have tried to achieve in the change model. So you have done the first 7 steps in the quarter's 8 step. The last step here is stage 3, is where you now do the refreezing or reinforcing the change into the organizational culture. It becomes a new normal. Remember how we saw here about the current element model, how you refreeze, it becomes the new normal. Is what you're doing here now. The new system, the new plan of working, the new operation. If you're doing a buy-in, you're doing a merger, is now working for us. It is the way we're going to go. No going backwards. You have unfrozen everything. You're now refreezing it. Any question?
Nancy, we have input, not a question really. I believe it's from Kasule. For complete empowerment, there's an acronym FEET, F-E-E-T-T.
Yes.
That stands for facilitate, equip, empower, train, and trust. Could that fit in?
Yes, it can, because it talks about empowering the employees.
Yes.
So whatever it is that you have seen in your company can work in that element, number 5, put that in there. That fit, put it in there. Because now you see this model is it's a guide for you, but you know what you can do best in that area. If you have such efforts or such initiatives you're doing right now, put them in there. That's a very, very good way of working. So I like it. F-I, say it again, F-E, I can even borrow from you.
F-E.
F-E-T?
No, F-double-E.
Yes.
Double T.
Yes.
Facilitate. Equip.
Yes.
Empower. Train.
Yes.
Trust.
That's great.
I think we've also learned something.
As I said earlier, like yesterday, I also learn as I train people, because learning never stops. Even we who have some knowledge don't never stop learning. We learn from you.
Yes.
Thank you for teaching us that. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Yes.
Because really here, the model is a guide. It's not exactly what these words are going to apply. It's about a guide to show you where you should go and how you should go about it. So adapt this model into your own language, your own culture, the way you work, but follow through and evaluate. Yes. Do you have any more comments?
We don't have any more comments unless they come in. No, the questions we've not received any.
Okay, I want to show you now my example of my company that is called Z Consulting, the one that I have just shared earlier, and just show you how I can adapt that, the 8 step.
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
You can't see it. Okay, share screen. You see, you're still learning how to.
It's there now.
Okay, it's there now. So look at the writings in red. I'm just trying to apply and adapt this for my own company. Yeah. Yes. So I've come as far as I have done my compelling vision, isn't it? I've now shared my team, and they can see it's a good way, it can work. And until they accept this vision, I cannot move on. So it can take a long time. This stage here can take a long time to sell. So the obstacles here, there are doubts, people asking questions, understanding the areas of concern. So answer every question as a leader and let everybody understand what it is about this place we are going. That's better than where we are now. So I communicate the whole with my staff there. They're happy about it. My partners, those I work with, how we're going to be working from now on virtually from where you are. And you're going to be using platforms like Zoom or maybe Microsoft Teams or Murals, and there are many, and we agree on them. So number 5 here is where now I do the fit. I'm applying now the fit that I've been taught now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I must train myself and my team on the new skills of how I'm going to apply the virtual trainings. And there are so many, by the way, there are so many ways of training. We have learned Zoom webinar, what you're doing right now. There are murals, there are teams, there are moderated structures, there are so many of them, but I pick about 2 or 3 that are easy to adapt with the market. Those who are able to adapt, I'm going to be coaching and training, can adapt easily. So we train ourselves, we refresh the course ourselves, and we agree and say, let's do some trial webinars and see how it works, for example. Yeah. Stage 2. Let's see how this works. We try a few free webinars with Purity maybe, and get to see how they can be used in the future as we go live with our clients. Are they happy about them? Do they have concerns for them? Do they have queries about how to be used, how they apply them? If they are there, then let's understand. And before we roll out how we can train virtually, be sure we have understood how it works, understood how to have group work done in Zoom, for example, how to share screens, understand what level of bands you require, bandwidth band you require to have. How long should it be? An hour, 2 hours? Should there be a break? So all those things now are the things we're understanding. We are trying to equip ourselves and the fit, that fit thing, evaluate ourselves. And then we roll off the model. We start now. We call Q sourcing and say, now we have a training we can give to you on Zoom webinar. Okay, it's called change management or HR for something else, for example. Okay, and then say, fine, let's do it. So we train. Number 6 there now, the short wins are the ones we want to generate now. So start training. And you can say we have trained Q sourcing Nairobi, maybe Uganda, or we have trained Barclays Bank Nairobi, Kisumu, and it has been successful. They've understood. It was a good session. We have learned a lot. There were interruptions. They have understood and how they can apply change. Those are short wins, and we're happy, So you say, well done, and clap ourselves and say, we have done something good, okay? Then we say, what has not gone well? What can we improve on? Maybe we should reduce the number of hours we do for virtual, because virtual learning is not the same as physical learning. We are draining them, and staring at a computer is very, very hard work. Let's make it at least 2 hours, not 4 hours. Or we can maybe have 2 hours in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, and have a whole week spread out. So we try that and say, moving forward now, creating greater gains now, we shall be saying a webinar will only take 2 hours in the morning or 2 hours once a day. And then and see how it goes for others. And then we're only going to be using Zoom webinar and maybe Teams, because that's what they're all happy about to use, our clients. And that now becomes our number 7. That's now the change we have adapted. So we are doing virtual and we're using Zoom webinar. We're using Teams. We are saying here that we only require 2 hours, and they can apply that because they can ask questions on verbal, or they can have a chat, and we can have different groups going to different rooms for discussions, and we can have them share their discussions with us. It works very, very well. And we can stop somewhere and say, let's pause for Q&A. They can talk or they can write out. Then I come to my last stage here, stage 3, to reinforce the change in my culture of my company called Zoo Consulting. So I must now develop the structure of work and have a handbook, or have maybe the charter or the policy. And from now on, we'll be selling our training as virtual in this mode. Our costing, our structure for cost is this much for a day. For this course is this much per person or per session or per company. We agree, okay? And then we now communicate our new policy, our new way of working or trainings to all our customers, and give them packages they can subscribe to. They can have our annual or biannual package of these different courses we're going to start from in January, February, March, and then you can move on like that. That's now what becomes our reinforced change in our company. And that becomes the norm, the new norm. Because we have seen it has worked, that's how we're going to be training. Because that's our business. If you don't do it, we lose our jobs, we're going to close down. So again, here, we are like those border beasts. If you don't cross the Mara and risk crossing over, we will die if you stay on this side. But it's another way we can go across to the other side. That example just shows how you can maybe adapt this 8-step model. And are there any questions? Are we able to follow through with my example? Have you seen how it works? Any questions, comments, or even improvements? For example, this is just a model.
Yes.
So feel free to critique, to ask questions, to improve it. It's a model, and I'm trying to adapt to my business called Z Consulting and how I went through it and how it's going on. Any questions? Can this work for you as Q sourcing? Do you see it working for you, for your company, for your department, your section? Is it a good model? Despite things has done very well in the country,
Yes,
in the globe, in the world. It's clear, good.
Shamim talking, Nancy?
Mm-hmm. Yes? Somebody was talking.
Yes, Shamim.
No, I was just saying it's very clear.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Anything to add or to maybe to critique? Sandra, is Sandra there? I've been calling Sandra a lot because she's the boss.
Yeah, she's here.
You want to hear her voice? Sandra, are you there?
I think she is. She might be having a problem with her mic, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, this can work for any size of business. Let me just add here. These models or guides can work for a small business, a Juakali, an SME.
Let's give Rebecca a chance. Rebecca, you have something to say? You are unmuted. All right, let's continue, Nancy.
Yeah, I was just saying that this model has worked very, very well worldwide for many, many years. It is actually a 2-in-1. It's basically the Kat-Lewin 3-stage that has been developed by Koda and has done very well. It has done very well abroad and even locally here. And as long as you can able to follow through the step where you are and review where you are, it's good to understand and say, we have gone this far. We have come as far as the vision development, and we have 5 more steps, but so far, how are we doing? It helps you look back and evaluate yourself and even know how to go next. Now, let me just go through the entire sketch of my, sorry. So we have learned a lot the last 2 days. We have learned how to identify the events that are going on in the external environment and seeing where they lie in the pastel and how to apply them in the McKinsey 7S model. So let me just apply myself, my company called Z Consulting from the beginning. And I'm going to use the COVID. It's very straightforward. So COVID has come to the country, to the world, and it's affecting me because the social aspect in the pastel, okay? It affects the health of people and safety of people. And my business is dealing with people, and I need to have people around me to teach, to train, to coach, for me to continue, okay? So now in that consulting, what are the 7 S's in the model that are being affected or influenced by this change? And I've said here my systems. This, I mean, the operations, the procedures, how I go about engaging in trainings are affected. I cannot go out there and face a panel of people and train them face to face because we have to distance ourselves as the law has told us. So distancing must be done. We can't interact easily. So that has been affected. My way I teach, the mode of teaching. Number 2, my skills or our skills are affected because our skills have been simple. You look at a topic, you go out there and you train. But now because of my systems being affected, I have to think of a different way of training. And I've seen virtual can work. So I apply the virtual training system. So I must learn how to teach virtually. learn how these platforms operate, the webinars, the Zoom, the murals. And then I must also be able to understand how my staff will operate. My staff have been coming to the office every day together, they work, somebody is in charge of a procurement, somebody else does for me operations. But now, because we're not very busy anymore and I cannot have them going out there to the people, they can't be at work all day long. We must plan on a work plan where my staff can be away. We can stagger and say, you come today, to come tomorrow, or we close for 2 days, or we just work from home, all of us. So how the staff are going to work and how the staff are going to be operating is different. And I pray because I don't want to lose my staff, I can keep them all. But because COVID has taken away a lot of our customers and a lot of our work, I can tell them, please accept 80% pay for the next few months until we're able to go over the COVID period. Yeah, I don't want them to go home. I need them, but they must now think about how they can also adapt and support this change. All right. Then the change is now to train virtually from site to distancing kind of training, because I don't want to spread the coronavirus. So that's the change I'm going to adapt now, training my training method. And I began here by showing you how step by step 1 to stage 10, to stage 8, sorry, and how I did it, and how I did my change vision to sell to my team on the stage 4 of the 8 steps. And then now I want you people to be the ones to do it for me, to do for yourself. I want to give you a group work here, okay? Now I was saying this model works very well across for any company, consulting company, if you're a bank, it works very, very well. So now I want to give you some work to do as teams, as 5 teams.
Yes.
You're 5 teams? Are we still 5 teams, Charity? Purity?
Yes, yes, we should be in 5 teams.
Yeah, yeah. So think of yourselves as leaders in these teams you'll be given. You're the leaders, you're the ones in charge of the change in these different scenarios. And you're going to start at the very beginning here, how you began yesterday. Using the percent analysis, identify the element of percent that has caused a change in the external environment of your business. So now again, pick one element of percent that affects any of your business here, depending on where you'll be in the group. Okay?
Yes.
And what aspect of the McKinsey 5 7 S's is affected by the change? Again, you'll pick out. And then develop a compelling vision for the company, for the change initiative. The one I shared earlier, this vision here.
Yes.
When it comes to number 5, develop one you're going to sell to your colleagues and your teams. Number 4, apply the Koda's 8-step model to show how your change for the company will be implemented. So you'll do what I showed you here, I will do, like what I did here. So you go step by step from step 1 to step 8 on the Koda's 8 steps. And you're the ones now leading the change in the companies or the places where you'll be put in your teams, because there are different teams, different groups, different scenarios.
Yes.
And think of how the pestle can either work for you or against you. I was saying earlier, the pestle can either be against you or for you. It might work for you because sometimes, for example, if you say we are Q-sourcing and the market is full of people who want to work, you know, and they're open to work, it means you can get easy human resource from the market, for example. So think of the pestle not as a negative thing, but it can be a positive thing in your scenario. So think about that. So Purity, you can take over from here.
Yes, please. So what we'll do, the same thing that we did yesterday, we'll spread you out into breakout rooms. We'll have 5 breakout rooms. So just to mention, let me see, at least we'll have 4 participants per breakout room. So group 1, you'll be Janina, there'll be May, and there'll be Akot. Group 2, there'll be Michael, Mona, Nelson, and Charlotte. Group 3, Jackson, Moses, Rebecca, and Sonia. Group 4, Arnold, Procurement, and Sandra. Group 5, Henry, Shamim, and Wendy. So what I will do, I'll just send you into groups and then I'll send you the individual work, each case scenario directly to your group. Then How many minutes, Nancy, can we give it?
We can give you for this, I think 25 minutes because it's a thorough one. It needs a lot of concentration. 25 minutes from now, and then we can have a group leader. Somebody else can now today discuss. So you can have a different group leader.
All right.
So that's from number 1 to 4.
All right. So 25 minutes, it means we'll come back at 10 to 1 p.m.
Yeah, and you can start discussing as many as we can before we close the session. Then if you cannot clear today, we can do them tomorrow morning and continue on.
Sawa.
But this will help you understand the beginning, how we all began, how it all flows together from the very beginning to the modeling of the change strategy.
All right.
But first of all, are there any questions we have so far before they continue? Are there any concerns before we roll out?
Any question from the team?
Very important we understand and we agree together.
Anything that was not clear or needs we repeat a bit? All right, I'll just read one final comment just before we go to the breakout rooms. Yeah. For anything to be achieved, you could borrow from SMEAC. SMEAC is S-M-E-A-C. For every action, it must be directed to a situation. Therefore has a mission to achieve, must have a concept of execution, and execution must be administered, either including the logistics part of it, and communication remains a must throughout the process. So our situation, mission, execution, administration, and communication.
That's great.
Yes, I think it sums it up.
It sums everything up very well. It's very well said. That was who?
That was our procurement guy, lady.
Procurement. Thank you for teaching us that. That's a fantastic way of summing it all up together.
Yes.
And I like how it ends by communication, because even in this change management, it's about communication. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tone you set and how you communicate and support and coach.
Yes.
Because it's something new. It's a new place you're going to. Nobody has been there before. So you have to let guys talk, ask questions. You must answer, give clarity, and talk to each other throughout. Yes. You never stop communicating, it continues. Where are we so far? What are short-term wins? What are obstructions? So all those must be done by communication continuously. And it's true, yes, even in this.
All right, so I think we do the break now for 25 minutes. That will mean we'll come back 5 minutes to 1 p.m.
Yes.
So we'll see how many groups will be able to present before we break for lunch and meet tomorrow for the final session. So I'm opening all the rooms. Kindly just log into the rooms. I think, or I hope those people who are together, they can discuss together if they're in the same office. If not,
also,
sorry?
I think you share with them my example.
Yes.
For the beginning to the end. The vision and the entire 8 steps protocol model, as well as the beginning part of the events, the pastel. Share also the pastel structure so they can have an idea of how to flow, because right now they're not, they don't have the slides with them yet.
Yes.
So share the entire thing with them, the entire slide with them.
Okay, so let me share, break them out and then share the assignments as well in the groups.
Yes.
So see you 5 minutes to 1 p.m. Don't go for an actual break, discuss. All right.
Yeah. So team 1 to 5, not team 1 to 6. I made an error there. You can correct that for me, Purity.
Yes, I already corrected in what you had said.
Sorry. Yeah. So I wish you well. I know you'll do well.
Yes.
And let's have some good discussions, eh?
For sure.
Yeah.
Please join the breakout rooms.
Let's wait for Wendy to come on. Wendy, are you there?
Hey, you guys are. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we're free. We're going to repost the question.
Group 1, there is your question.
Okay.
Yes. Group 2, Mona.
Hi, Purity.
Hi, where are your group members?
I'm going to.
Sorry?
I'm wondering. I'm going to look for them. I'm
All right.
going to look for them.
I've sent you the question for your team.
Can we please also have the notes? I don't know how.
Hi, Jackson. Hello? Rebecca, hello?
On, let me say 3 days or 4, we may choose to say we are committing to our clients that as soon as you order your brand, it will be available in the country within a month. So that we are changing our strategy as well as in the systems. If at all we've committed to clients that we deliver within 5 days, we shall come and redesign that. We shall be delivering in a month's time due to ABCD, where sometimes we may need to communicate directly, or sometimes already the economy is dictating and everyone is able to witness that. And 2, we also need to change the vendors. That is in the strategy.
Yes.
The vendors who are supplying to us the particular brands, we may choose to change, and then we also change the segment of customers we are targeting, because there are customers that will be targeting, let me say, brands from South Africa, and there are customers that are targeting brands from Japan. And in this case, we are unable to bring brands from Japan, but we are concentrating on South Africa, which is giving us mileage on our stock. So we can be able to engage our customers and tell them, guys, for this time, we are only having stock from South Africa. So in that case, we redesign the segment of customers we need to work with. In-house and in systems, we may need to restructure because the numbers are not coming in. So we are going to restructure, talk to staff, guys, look at ABCD. We are unable to make the numbers we anticipated to sustain all of us in the brand, in the operation. And 2, inside the systems, we may also have to adjust the workflows. If at all someone had a target of selling 10 cars in a month, we need to adjust to say, based on what is there, let's set a target on of 5 per month. And then also 2, 3, in systems, the company has to adjust and reduce on the cost of operation. We may say we are going to do online marketing rather than doing branding, billboards, and all that. So in the long run, we may tackle online, but we get a bigger audience rather than going per region doing our marketing and branding. We also can choose to minimize the costs of marketing. Let me say, if at all initially we're using TVs and all those, we may choose to say, now our segment of customer is this, we can reach them with this mode of operation. So that is it for the, and then in the soft S's, we are able to identify staff. Staff, yes. Staff would be affected in a way that if at all we had triggered their pay on bonuses or on commission, their pay may be reduced because they are unable to hit the targets to achieve the commission. 2, we can also do the downsizing because we are unable to sustain the bigger number of staff due to the stock we are making. And 3, staff also need to know that some incentives will go away automatically. If at all we are providing lunch at 10,000, we may choose to say currently we are only able to provide lunch at 5,000. So whoever can fit in can survive. And in the long run, it can affect a low pay for them. We may choose to say currently the company is not doing well, we either downsize or we reduce pay.
All right.
And even I think for the first 2 questions, that's our submission.
Okay. So you tackle the 3rd question tomorrow of the 8 steps by John Koda.
We can just do it briefly right now.
Okay, so Nancy, what do you think?
So far, I'm very, very happy with what they have presented. Well done, Team 5. You have followed through from the very beginning. You have done very well, Pastel, and you're very clear about what it is. The 7S, the way you discuss them is exactly how they should be. And I like that you're seeing the issues of staffing and systems as very critical here, and I'm so happy to hear that. Very well done so far.
Thank you.
I think this company will do well, Alizan, if you're to give it to you. It will survive.
We are seeing.
Nancy, do we do the last step for their group?
Is it completed?
No, just one more part of the question.
I think do it well. I think what you can do for now, Purity, let's break out now so they can do a thorough job on the 8-step model, because now we're doing the matrix.
Yes.
Yes, let's give them some time, and in the morning when we come at 11, they can start presenting.
All right, no problem.
So 5, I think you're on the right track, and I hope others are listening to what is going on. Don't forget you're the owners of this business, and you must make a strategy for change to survive and do well. Yeah? Okay. Think of yourself as the CEOs, the HR managers, and think of how this company, even this Pastel, we need to move ahead. And that's how it should be.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Very well done, team. Are there any questions, concerns in regard to the assignment or what we have learned today before we close?
Maybe, I don't know. Number 3, we didn't really understand how to respond to it. How different it is from Koda's 8-step.
Number 3 is a vision. Remember, we have a compelling vision to prepare here.
Oh, like a sentence.
You see, yes. You see, step 5, you must develop a compelling vision. And I give the example here.
Yes.
Okay.
So develop this vision.
Okay.
That is going to. Yes, you got it. But I think you can have the examples with you for the entire assignment.
Yes.
That you can refer to.
Should.
All right. So I think what I will do, I'll just share again on the main group, so you can see, or even you can download. Then to help you work better on the group work. Then tomorrow we'll start with group 5. Even if you're able to log in at least 5 minutes before time, we can start with you first. Then
I think so.
Yes. So if we are able to log in at least 10 minutes before time, we can start with your presentations. The next group will be group 3, then group 1, then group 4, in that order. So tomorrow is 5, 3, 1, 4, 2, in that particular order. This should not take us more than 15 minutes into our session tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Have a very good afternoon. Enjoy your lunch. I believe it's lunchtime also in Kampala. And talk to you tomorrow. God bless you all.
Bless you too.
Thank you everybody for your attention. I'm very happy about the progress so far. Keep it up tomorrow. Yeah? All right. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon.